Long ago in a distant past, there was an event that completely changed the fate of the world. It is said that one night, the sky suddenly lit up with strange light, and from the depths of the universe, a giant shooting star rushed down and fell to Earth. This shooting star was actually a gigantic meteorite, containing within it an immensely powerful and mysterious force. From all over the world, scientists and leading experts quickly gathered to study this strange treasure. They believed that hidden within this meteorite was a new type of energy, a power that could change the future of humanity. But that hope didn't last long, because not long after the first meteorite fell, another meteorite, but this time pitch black and radiating an eerie, dark energy, also descended from the sky. The appearance of this black meteorite brought with it a terrible disaster. From it, countless bizarre and violent creatures that humans had never known before began to appear. People called them D2, monsters from the dark corners of the universe. They destroyed everything in their path, slaughtered humans, burned cities, and quickly pushed humanity's brilliant civilization to the brink of collapse. When everyone seemed completely desperate, when smoke, fire, and screams covered the earth, a new hope emerged. From among ordinary people, special individuals began to appear. People called them conductors and commanders, those who could use the power from the first meteorite to fight against the D2. They were warriors, artists, and destroyers, but also those who brought music to the world. They became the shield protecting the weak from extinction. The story truly begins in a bustling marketplace, where at the center stood a large, shiny piano that had seemingly become a mere decoration because no one dared to touch it. A small boy with clear eyes full of curiosity approached and gazed at the strange instrument. The boy had no idea what instrument it was, nor did he understand what music was. In those innocent eyes was only curiosity, and then he reached out to gently touch the keys. At that moment, a young man with jet black hair and deep black eyes appeared. He was Tact, a special conductor. Realizing that the boy had never known music, Tact didn't say much but sat down at the piano, letting his hands freely glide over the black and white keys. The music rang out clear and utterly captivating. The sound quickly spread, causing everyone in the busy market to stop and curiously approach to enjoy it. But before the music ended, danger struck. From afar, a black shadow rushed forward with terrifying speed. It was a D2. It lunged straight at Tact, screaming madly, seemingly wanting to tear apart anyone who dared to play music. But at the critical moment, a girl appeared, delivering a powerful kick directly to the monster's mouth, making it stagger. At the same time, Tact's right arm suddenly disappeared, revealing the connection between him and the girl. That girl was Unmei, Tact's partner. The dress on her body changed to a bright red, glowing as brilliantly as fire. She quickly threw Tact a conducting baton with a few precise movements. Tact pointed out the monster's weakness, while Unmei lunged forward to deliver the decisive blow. In the moment the D2 fell, Tact regained his right arm. He relaxed, smiling with satisfaction, because for him, this battle was just like a perfect musical performance. After the battle, Unmei returned to her normal form. But immediately, she criticized Tact for his weakness, saying he wasn't strong enough to accompany her on the long journey to New York. Tact argued back that Unmei was too impulsive, unable to control her power. Both argued fiercely, each insisting they were right. When the atmosphere was tense, a car approached from the distance. From the car stepped a girl with chestnut-colored hair. It was Anna, Unmei's older sister. Anna immediately intervened, demanding they stop. She reminded Unmei and Tact to retreat, not to cause more trouble for ordinary people. Unmei obediently pushed Tact into the car, while Anna continuously apologized to the surrounding people for the commotion. In the car, Anna sternly warned Tact not to act on his own anymore. The journey to New York was still long and full of dangers. If they continued to be reckless like this, they would never reach their destination. But Tact paid no attention. He tapped rhythms on the window, still dreamily thinking about music. It had been a long time since he had touched a piano, and he felt if he couldn't play music, he couldn't bear it. For Tact, music was his breath, his life, while Unmei only cared about eating enough to fight. As for Anna, she sighed helplessly because her sister was always indulged by Tact. That afternoon, the group stopped at a small roadside cafe to ask for directions. Here they heard that the D2 had nested in the town ahead. Anna anxiously discussed with the cafe owner to find an alternative route. However, Tact noticed a music player in the corner of the room. He approached, intending to try it, but was immediately warned not to use it because music would attract the D2. Unmei, having now recharged her energy, eagerly suggested joining Tact to eliminate the monsters and create a shortcut to New York. Tact agreed, partly because he wanted to fight and partly because he wanted to enjoy that music player. Despite Anna's attempts to stop her, Unmei transformed and rushed straight through the wall towards where the D2 were hiding. Anna hurriedly followed, while Tact remained calm because he could link his vision with Unmei's. But tragedy struck. A large explosion suddenly rang out. Unmei was thrown out and lost consciousness, and even Tact, due to his close link with her, lost consciousness and collapsed. The next morning when they woke up, Anna decided to rearrange the group's goals. She declared that the most important thing now was to reach New York to treat Unmei. But Tact only thought about music, while Unmei just wanted to fight monsters. Faced with the stubbornness of both, Anna became so upset that she burst into tears. Unmei then recounted that last night too many D2 appeared. She had resisted with all her might but was still cornered. Finally, she was forced to explode to destroy them, but was ambushed by another D2. Hearing this, Tact came up with a bold plan: use music to lure the D2 out. In the afternoon, Unmei returned to town, bringing a piano. Waiting until nightfall, Tact sat down and began to play while Unmei prepared to fight. Indeed, the melodious piano sounds caused D2 from everywhere to rise. They screamed madly as they rushed in. Immediately, Unmei threw herself into battle. She transformed her weapon into a shotgun, shooting down smaller monsters one by one. Tact both played and conducted, creating a rhythmic battle. However, from behind, the D2 boss suddenly ambushed. It possessed a black stone in its body, allowing unlimited regeneration. Unmei recognized this weakness and quickly transformed her weapon into a sword, concentrating all her strength, and lunged straight at the monster's chest. With a fatal thrust, she destroyed the stone, causing the gigantic D2 to scream and vanish. When the battle ended, Unmei and Tact returned to their original state. They sat down by the piano, letting the music resonate like a triumphant hymn after the storm. Afterward, the three continued their journey toward New York. Anna didn't forget to remind them that from now on, they must act together and not be impulsive. Tact only hoped that next time, he would play on a larger piano. As for Unmei, she didn't care. She was busy enjoying a donut with a hole in the middle, which fascinated her more than the battle. At a time in the past, D2 monsters had attacked this place, causing chaos. All the surrounding buildings had been destroyed by them. Even life itself was slowly dying. Young Tact had lost his family during this horrifying national event. While grief and loss still surrounded everyone, a man stood up to ease people's worries by speaking about the benefits of music in destroying the D2. He said they couldn't let beautiful music that nourishes the soul be taken away by the D2, and that music itself would be the power to destroy them. Perhaps it was at this time that young Tact, overwhelmed with sadness, immersed himself in practicing piano. In the present, Tact is practicing in a closed, dusty, and messy room because he feels this helps him concentrate better on playing piano. Suddenly, Unmei bursts in to clean up, and seeing the room in such a state after just 1 week, she can't help but complain about Tact's untidiness. There are even grotesque things having a celebration party there. Although she helped Tact clean the room, he didn't want her to because he saw her as a nuisance. Meanwhile, those strange partygoers knew to be quiet to let him practice piano. While she was vacuuming, she deliberately vacuumed Tact too, making him furious, and the two ended up in a verbal duel. During their argument, the manager Anna walks in. She stands to the side, watching this familiar scene without much surprise. But being at her wit's end, she finally has to shout for them to stop, threatening consequences if they don't. Afterward, the three sit down to eat together. Unmei constantly complains about how Tact only sits in the garage playing piano all day, not going out to make friends or earn money. Moreover, he lives in filth and doesn't bathe. The piano suffers most in the world, being played mercilessly all day. But Tact argues that going out is pointless, and his room isn't dirty enough to need bathing. He claims only one person brings dirt into his room. They trade barbs, but it's Anna who suffers. Eventually, she has to speak up again, telling them to eat quietly. She also informs them that she and Unmei might have to go to Tokyo. If that happens, how will Tact live without them? But in response to Anna's concern, Tact indifferently says he'll stay to protect his music. Then he stands up and leaves. On a heavily rainy day, while Tact is engrossed in practicing piano and imagining himself performing on stage, with the audience applauding enthusiastically, Unmei comes in to inform him about the upcoming Symphonia Orchestra performance. This is also a great opportunity for Tact to properly perform in public without fear of judgment. But in response to her expectation, Tact only says he won't play outside because he's not sure if he can move people's hearts. Unmei now understands his concern and expresses her love for Tact's piano playing. She also believes that others might be eagerly waiting too. After finishing, Unmei takes the flyer and leaves. While Tact is addressing his sadness, suddenly he hears piano music coming from the room, causing him to quickly finish up and run in to see. He discovers that Unmei also knows how to play piano, but she only knows a part of Beethoven's Pathetique Sonata. Then he goes straight in and sits in her place at the piano. His fingers begin to move gently and gracefully over the keys. After a section, he stops. Unmei explains that she learned to play piano from her mother when she was little. She occasionally sneaks in to play while Tact is bathing. After a few sentences, Anna comes in to ask Unmei if she's finished cleaning up so she can take out the trash. Seeing Anna come in to clean, Tact asks what kind of person Unmei is. Anna doesn't hide anything and says directly that her sister is the epitome of excellence. Beautiful, cute, warm, and caring for others. But in Tact's eyes, Unmei is just a nuisance who also secretly plays his piano. Hearing this, Anna can only sigh helplessly and ask, if no one else listens to Tact's piano anymore, would he still want to continue playing? The next morning is the day of the Symphonia Festival. The atmosphere is so bustling and lively that Tact is bewildered because it's very noisy, and he doesn't see his piano anywhere. It turns out the two sisters have already taken his piano to the stage. Unmei now stands on the podium calling for people to come listen to piano, but it seems no one is interested. Until late evening, Tact still hasn't come on stage, making the two sisters extremely worried. But with her confidence in understanding Tact, Unmei firmly believes he will come. While waiting for him, she sits down to play piano to buy time. Unexpectedly, while she's playing the Pathetique, Tact arrives. Tact sits directly on the bench and plays an extremely joyful piece. At this point, everyone below marvels at his talent. Seeing Tact play so passionately, Unmei can't help but join in for fun. So the two combine forces to create a spectacular performance. After playing for a while, they both stand before the stage to greet the cheering audience. But the joy doesn't last long as Unmei discovers thick smoke on the other side of the building. Then a series of D2 monsters appear, shooting out bright beams that destroy everything. As a result, Tact and Unmei collapse on the spot, with debris lodged firmly in Tact's hand. When Tact regains consciousness, he finds Unmei unconscious on top of him. He frantically calls her to wake up, and Unmei barely opens her eyes to say she really likes his piano playing before passing out again. Tact can't believe his eyes because music should only bring joy to people, not suffering like this. He cries out for Unmei, unable to hold back his tears. At this moment, the stone on Unmei's chest begins to glow, lifting her into the air and shooting out thousands of thorny vines that wrap around Tact's injured hand, causing him intense pain. Looking down, he discovers a fiery girl crawling up his body and biting straight into his arm. Immediately, that arm disappears, blood gushing out, causing Tact unbearable pain. At the same time, the fiery girl merges with Unmei, transforming her into an extremely beautiful girl in a fiery red dress. Tact's eyes suddenly glow in response. Now Unmei gives Tact a magic wand and calls him master, suggesting he command her to eliminate the D2 surrounding them. The city was now filled with ruins and blood and fire. Anna could only stand there in panic, not believing her eyes anymore. Then the D2 monsters gathered around Tact and Unmei, but in just a moment, many of them were destroyed because he had ordered Unmei to clean them up. After she delivered a super powerful attack to eliminate a swarm, she immediately returned to her original form and collapsed. Meanwhile, Tact's blood-covered arm returned to normal. Meanwhile, more D2 surrounded the two of them. Tact seemed exhausted too, unable to do anything more, and directly passed out. In this life-or-death situation, surprisingly, a strange man and woman appeared on a motorcycle to destroy the monsters and rescue Tact and Unmei. Who knows how much time had passed? The scene shows Tact playing piano for Unmei. Suddenly, the space around him turned completely white, and Unmei stood up and left, only turning back to smile at him before disappearing. At this moment, Tact woke up and realized it was just a dream. He turned over his hand and discovered that the hand that had disappeared now showed red splotches like blood, which extremely surprised him, making his eyes widen. What surprised him even more was when he went to the garage to practice and discovered that Unmei had become a different person. soulless, mechanical, and had even changed her name to Destiny. While Tact was recalling the strange events that happened between them yesterday, she suddenly interrupted to explain that she was born into this world as the Fifth Symphony, also as the performer under his command, which is why she called Tact Conductor. While he was still confused about what was happening before his eyes, Anna came in to check on the situation. Later, Tact went into the house and saw the table filled with various foods. Thinking Anna was preparing a feast, she instead said, "Lenny will explain everything to you." It turned out that Lenny was the name of the black man cooking, who had saved them when they passed out on the road yesterday. Despite appearances, this man was actually the conductor of the Sinfonica Orchestra, accompanied by a cute orange-haired girl named Titan. During the meal, Lenny recounted the appearance of D2 monsters from the night when the Black Meteorite, also called the Dark Knight Meteorite, fell to Earth. The strange power it emitted had infected the entire planet. It was from this that the D2 monsters were born, and the only thing that could defeat them were the performers with their awesome powers. This tremendous power came from Harmonia Ore, which had energy contrasting with the Dark Knight Meteorite and had a special connection to music. However, the Sargon Declaration nearly 4 years ago stated that D2 had disappeared and the war had ended. But for some unknown reason, people still couldn't play music normally. While they were talking, Destiny interrupted, complaining that she hadn't even started working yet, was already out of a job, so how would she live in the future? At this point, Lenny explained that Destiny was someone with extraordinary qualities who could awaken herself without going through any process. However, this had a flaw as the energy wasn't distributed evenly, and during battle, she arbitrarily destroyed weapons. When a person awakens, their memories aren't lost, but their personality becomes different. Even Titan was like this. Hearing this, Anna burst into tears because her sister had now vanished from this world. This was extremely shocking news and very difficult for her to accept. After the meal, Titan and Destiny went out for cake and tea. Meanwhile, Anna, Tact, and Lenny discussed plans regarding Sinfonica's headquarters in New York. Charlotte and Anna's parents were there. But to get there, the problem was that not all roads had been fully restored. Even areas under lockdown prohibited people from entering. Therefore, they could only first go to Las Vegas, then head south along the Gulf of Mexico to New Orleans, and continue north through the Palakia Range to reach New York. For safety, everything had to be arranged most carefully. At this point, Anna expressed her desire to see her parents, but since the phone lines had been cut, she couldn't call them. Fortunately, Lenny's Sinfonica had a dedicated line, so she could call her family. Lenny also expressed his desire to accompany the three for part of the journey while teaching Tact some experience as a conductor. It was at this very moment, while everything was peaceful, that Tact's arms suddenly disappeared and Destiny, who was eating cake, transformed and ran off. Titan had detected D2 in the area. Immediately, Tact also saw its location and rushed toward where the D2 appeared. Anna was alarmed by their behavior, but Lenny reassured her. He also noticed that both Tact and Destiny had something wrong with them, as they acted no different from wild animals. Then Lenny asked Anna to stay and watch for the two to return, while he and his partner Titan would follow. On Tact's side, he had chased Destiny, only to find her shooting randomly all over the place. The more she did this, the more pain he felt, so he took the baton and directed Destiny to eliminate the target. Unfortunately, even after the D2 fell, Destiny still intentionally continued shooting until it completely vanished, causing the red mark on Tact's body to spread to his face, making him feel even more pain. Afterward, they were surrounded by a herd of D2. Fortunately, Lenny and Titan arrived in time to rescue them. At this moment, the pain on Tact's body became intense. Seeing this situation, Lenny explained that Destiny was taking over Tact and draining his life force to fight. So Lenny stepped in to replace Tact, and he commanded Titan to charge forward to eliminate this group of monsters. As expected from professionals, Titan hit her target with every shot. In just a moment, she had eliminated the entire herd of D2, but one escaped. So Destiny and Tact pursued it, only to realize it was heading toward their home. Destiny fired a shot, and it flew straight into the house before Anna's panicked eyes. Tact then ordered Destiny to destroy it immediately. She obeyed the order and directly created an explosion that shook the entire ground, and the house along with the D2 monster vanished in the blink of an eye. After everything was in ruins, the group began their journey to Las Vegas. On the way, Tact continuously moved his hands as if playing piano, making Destiny sitting beside him very curious. But since she was born from music, she would surely understand. She even proactively asked him if he could play for her to hear. The group arrived at a desert area. At this time, Tact was commanding Destiny to eliminate the D2 in front of them. But no matter how Tact commanded, she couldn't hit that D2. Only when he was exhausted did Lenny step in to help. Lenny stood up to command Titan to shoot one of the D2's legs, then block it and deliver the finishing blow. In just a few seconds, the D2 was eliminated without a trace. Destiny was impressed and asked Titan, who just said that when her conductor gives an order, it will beep beep to her. Destiny stood listening, not sure if she understood, but kept nodding and then turned to tell Tact to do the same. Tact grumbled that it sounds easy but might not be doable. But since he was the one who asked Lenny to teach him, he had to endure it. Fortunately, Destiny's performer instinct was quite strong, so when D2 appeared, she would definitely fight. Whether she could hit them or not was uncertain. Lenny explained to Tact about feeling the harmony. The timbre that Destiny conveyed would resonate with his rhythm. For a musician, being able to dialogue with the music they perform would be wonderful. The conductor would guide the performer to weave together the melody they aim for. The group was taking a break when Lenny's friend, Jonathan, drove up. Coincidentally, he was also working at the Las Vegas farm, which was the group's destination. At the farm, Lenny and Titan met Maggie again, and were surprised that she and Jonathan had become a loving couple so quickly. Probably because they hadn't seen each other for a long time, everyone chatted enthusiastically. During the conversation, the owner of the place came to welcome them. Perhaps because their identity was inconvenient to reveal, Lenny had to introduce Tact, Destiny, and Anna as his 3 children. The owner invited everyone for a meal, but Lenny declined, saying they already had plans with Jonathan's family. During the meal, everyone was surprised that all the dishes were made from the farm's own produce. It was also surprising because everything here progressed faster than expected. When D2 attacked Maggie and Jonathan's city, Lenny helped them eliminate the monsters. Afterward, they moved here to live because this place needed manpower to recover after being devastated by D2. And thanks to Symphonica, there were no more D2 here, allowing people to increase production. The cultivated area was also expanding. Now the lives of the people here were just beginning. Peace was hard won, so everyone was determined to reclaim what was lost because of D2. That night, Lenny and Tact sat on the porch watching the moon. Lenny revealed that he didn't want people to know about the D2 encounter near this place earlier today, because he couldn't bear to see people's hope for the future once again extinguished. He also said he believed in music, which still exists until now because it can bring happiness to people. It connects hearts, soothes pain, ignites courage, and creates the future. Even famous artists had to go through countless difficulties to create such beautiful music. And of course, it's what allows the world to continue moving forward. The musicians they need to protect are also Symfonica's mission. But no matter what Lenny said, Tact wasn't interested at the moment because people still couldn't enjoy music now. After saying this, he went to his room. Lenny said he had business to attend to with Titan, meeting Lenger, the owner of a casino in Las Vegas. He expressed interest in playing there to prove himself and pulled out a pile of cash, filling the table. Lenger, an experienced man, smiled meaningfully as soon as he looked. He naturally knew what Lenny wanted. After finishing the conversation with Lenny, Tact lay down with his hands behind his head, thinking idly about a few things. Before long, Anna and Destiny entered the room. Destiny sensed a vibration that the other 2 couldn't detect. She crawled around the room to find the center of that vibration, somewhat guessing it was caused by D2. Although Destiny wasn't sure, she couldn't pretend she hadn't seen it and wanted to verify for herself. As soon as she finished speaking, she broke through the wall and flew outside. Anna and Tact couldn't stop her in time and could only follow her. The 3 walked for a while and arrived at a party outside. Destiny didn't say a second sentence before punching the doorman, sending them flying far away. The area inside was a casino, exactly the kind of entertainment place like Las Vegas. The surprising thing was that, unlike behind the doors, the lavish splendor was disguised with an exceedingly ordinary exterior. Lenger was welcoming 2 guests, Lenny and Titan, after he had spent enough money to burn through this place in the next few hours. For the time being, he wasn't playing yet, just wanting to chat with Lenger for a while, asking about how this place operates. Meanwhile, more security guards were reporting to him that intruders had breached the premises. They still hadn't found where Tact's group was hiding. Anna looked around in surprise at all the new things. Tact wasn't very interested because they were in Las Vegas. It would be strange if there were only agricultural products here. Unmei pressed her ear to the floor, sensing a strange smell, and reported it to Tact. At this point, the security guards also found them. Destiny immediately crashed through some card machines on the side and ran away. Lenger, standing above, immediately recognized the familiar faces below, as the security guards were still surrounding the three of them. But Destiny's power had shown everyone, and the two standing up here were also discovered to be accomplices. They were threatened by the guards with guns. More and more guards appeared. Destiny immediately recognized the presence of D2. As soon as she finished speaking, cracks appeared on the ground, and D2 monsters emerged from the earth and flew up, seemingly causing chaos throughout the casino. Some people managed to escape, but the unfortunate ones were long since torn apart. Lenger and his accomplices fearfully stood hiding in a corner, while only Tax people stood outside fighting these monsters. Destiny had transformed into her stronger form to battle these D2 monsters. Lenny and Titan also escaped from the guards' threats to come here and help them fight the D2 together. Lenny had many things he wanted to say to Tact, but whatever the case, he had to wait until they resolved the problem in front of them first. This battle was considered a test of ability after the long time Lenny had spent training the three of them. In the future, they would face many more D2 and must learn how to deal with them to have a chance of survival. Lenny held a small baton like an orchestra conductor controlling each rhythm in a concert. They would follow what he taught to fight with maximum efficiency. Even the energy released had to be controlled. But Destiny was a rebellious girl who acted without any principles, making even the calm Tact speak up to admonish her. In the end, Destiny had to follow what Tact taught. Titan also rushed up to participate in this battle. 2 conductors and 2 performers, with a coordinated combination, brought down each D2, finally ending it beautifully like a performance, truly a real concert, just missing the audience. Meanwhile, old Lenger had stolen the money and run away, but Titan was in pursuit. He might spend a long time in jail for embezzling money from the working people. The next morning, they met one last time before leaving. The local couple gave Anna a bag of corn, the main agricultural product of this land. Tact and Lenny chatted beside each other. He couldn't go with Tact because he still had matters to resolve, and later they would separate and act independently. Tact was independent, so he didn't hold him back at all, only wishing that he could achieve what he wanted, and then they would both go the way they had chosen. Titan had gathered all the evidence from Lenger and his customer list. After saying goodbye to Tax people, they left. In a distant future of humanity, a train was preparing to depart. Sindler's people were inside planning a few things. On his table were images captured from Tax Group's battle against D2 at the Las Vegas casino. A subordinate reported all the events and asked him about solutions, as this matter involved many people. Sindler didn't want this to reach the chief conductor. He would personally handle it. At the same time, Tax Group had stopped in the desert because their old car had broken down a bit. The person responsible for repairs was none other than Anna, and during this time, they calculated where the next destination would be. Anna suggested the three of them go to New Orleans. She didn't want to answer anymore as it would make her lose focus. And finally, feeling exhausted, she wanted to switch with Tact. He had just walked by and ruined all of Anna's efforts. His foot accidentally hit the metal bars supporting the wheel that had been removed. As a result, the car was dented at the bottom and couldn't be repaired anymore. This was beyond the abilities of the three of them. Destiny wasn't very surprised by this. From before until now, apart from his only strength in music, all of Tact's life skills were at negative infinity. It could be said that if there was no music in this world, he would certainly have a very difficult life. Tact wouldn't take this lying down. He retorted that she was like him, having nothing besides the ability to destroy D2, and that he didn't need any knowledge outside of music. Just as he finished speaking, Destiny sensed D2 appearing, and she immediately transformed and ran to where the monster was. Although the D2 were far away, Destiny could still sense them. She ran a distance pursuing the monster that was trying to escape. With just one shot, she made the monster struggle. Immediately, Destiny rushed in with a sword strike, causing it to vanish. After finishing, she didn't pay attention to the fact that she was standing on train tracks. Destiny lacked nerve reflexes, just staring at the train as it approached. Fortunately, it stopped in time. At this moment, Anna's car also arrived. Though dented a bit, with the wheels attached, it could still drive normally. Afterward, the two of them got out of the car. The first thing that caught Tact's eye was the label on the train. This was a Symphonica orchestra train. Symfonica's people also came down to check the situation. As soon as they saw Destiny's outfit, they recognized her as a performer. Valkyrie immediately pointed her sword at Destiny, but she remained silent. Seeing the situation becoming tense, Anna ran over to explain on behalf of her friend that this was just an accident. At this point, everyone was present, including the conductor of Symphonica, Sindler. He wanted to ask them a few questions, but Tact hurriedly said they were busy. Sindler, acting like a good person, invited the three of them to travel along on the train, even though their destinations didn't match but were on the way. He didn't give them time to hesitate, so both groups sat in the same compartment, while Tact's old car was moved to the roof of the train. Sindler was always an open person, telling his story to the three of them. They learned that he was carrying out a mission to transport recovered Dark Knight meteorites back to Symphonica. Both sides made peace because the earlier attitude wasn't very appropriate. Sindler explained that due to the urgency of the matter, his attitude had been somewhat tense. Valkyrie stood beside him, reminding him, but he didn't want to hide this matter, because he had invited them to travel with him. He paid attention to Destiny, mentioning that she was extremely strange, just like a real robot. Even when fighting, she didn't show any emotions, always in a state of searching for D2 everywhere. Even when enjoying delicious cake, her face didn't change. She just quickly devoured the whole cake. Sindler was attracted by this characteristic of hers. He admitted that he had met many performers across the country, but honestly had never met anyone like Destiny. He wanted to ask Tact how to obtain this weapon. Anna was very uncomfortable with his way of addressing her. Sindler explained that performers in his eyes were weapons, instruments to defeat D2. This guy wanted to ask Tact a few more things, but he didn't listen and spoke up to cut him off. Valkyrie, standing next to Sindler, found him too disrespectful and was about to teach him a lesson, but was stopped by Sindler, who said he wanted to let them rest first, not that there wouldn't be any fighting. So according to Sindler's wishes, Valkyrie took the three of them to another compartment to rest, but they had to be supervised by his people. Tact stood up and objected for a while, causing her to fall silent while the two argued. Destiny had seen D2 flying very close around here. Tact immediately activated her powers, and she crashed straight out of the train. Indeed, outside, D2 monsters were flying parallel to the train. Tact was there to direct Destiny in fighting these monsters. Valkyrie also helped the two of them. The problem was that there were too many of them. After fighting for a while, they damaged the tracks, causing the train to stop. Anna, inside, looked out to see what was happening when Sindler came to invite her to his place to talk. Outside, the repair team had quickly arrived to deal with the scene. The estimated fastest time to fix it would take half a day. Valkyrie was annoyed because the two had delayed her leader's journey. She warned them not to do any more unnecessary things, then turned away angrily. As soon as she left, Jigoku appeared. She whispered into Tact's ear, revealing that Valkyrie hadn't signed a contract with any orchestra yet, and showed him how to win over Valkyrie. But Tact wasn't interested in these matters. Jigoku found him very interesting, and Destiny too. She examined Destiny's eyes for a moment, then turned away. Inside, Anna was telling Sindler about the experiences the three of them had. He knew Anna's background, praising her for doing her duty well, guessing that she wanted to follow them just to supervise rather than out of any team spirit, partly to ensure that the unadjusted performer didn't harm ordinary people without reason. Anna didn't accept the first part of this statement, but he only felt that she was doing the right thing because this world needed people chosen by heaven like the two of them, who had sufficient ability to lead inferior humans. Anna frowned at Sindler's words but didn't say anything more. Several hours later, the sky changed color. The repair team only needed a little more time to finish the tracks when at this moment, D2 monsters gathered, even more numerous than the first wave of the day. Valkyrie was also present. She couldn't understand. Weren't many Dark Knight meteorites sealed? How could so many D2 still gather? While she was wondering why, Tact and Destiny had already taken action. Both lunged forward to slash at the monsters, but the more they fought, the more hordes came. All three became tired after fighting this group for a while. Sindler stood in the train observing everything happening. He understood the cause of this, because performers who hadn't signed contracts with conductors would consume energy very quickly. Valkyrie was now a prime example. Tact and Destiny quickly regained their strength to fight the numerous incoming D2. Unfortunately, the first few shots under Tact's direction went off course. Seeing this, Valkyrie couldn't stand it and was about to scold him when she saw him collapse to the ground, still trying to direct Destiny. While Destiny focused on eliminating monsters, a D2 flew toward Tak's position. Fortunately, Valkyrie came to rescue him in time, struggling for a while to direct Destiny until they eliminated the monsters. But she couldn't control her power and accidentally caused a mountain near the tracks to collapse. Once finished, Valkyrie mercilessly let go of Tak, causing him to fall to the ground. He blamed her for being reckless, and she didn't like his words, but nevertheless, she had to be grateful to him for keeping the train safe. The two chatted for a moment, with Valkyrie also openly introducing her name. Tak's next statement made her embarrassed, causing her to blush and look away. At this moment, at the highest point of the cliff, a final boss D2 appeared while everyone had already spent considerable energy defeating its minions. The final card, Jigoku, also appeared with the Conductor's permission. With her strength and murderous character, she killed this final boss and felt very satisfied. Finally, the train successfully reached its designated destination. Valkyrie had just finished reporting when she was fired by Sindler. Instead of going to the final destination as said, he suddenly changed his decision. He and Jigoku went over to Tak to suggest that he become his subordinate, promising a more open future. Simply put, Tak's group wasn't official yet, like they were operating illegally. So if he agreed to submit to Sindler, it would make everything more formal than running it himself. Even so, Tak didn't agree, and after speaking, the three got in the car and drove away. A few days later, the car with Tak's 3 people was entering a city different from what was imagined for a sanctuary of musicians. This place was very quiet, the surrounding landscape desolate, as if having gone through a life and death struggle, and no one was seen passing by on the road. Anna was responsible for driving. She planned to continue to the riverbank, even knowing that there was no one there. Destiny was silent during their conversation. She couldn't smell any D2, meaning this area was in a safe zone. Anna trusted her. Absolutely, so today she could shop without any worries. While she was happy, Tak seemed unhappy because there weren't any D2. Actually, it wasn't like that. He even refused Destiny's offer to call monsters here. What made him unhappy was when they talked about music. Tak was very surprised that Destiny today even knew how to joke with him, feeling like she had learned how to communicate better than before. Because he praised her so much, Destiny decided to make a few more quips, leaving Tak speechless, unable to retort. The two argued throughout the journey. Only when Anna shouted for silence did they quiet down. Very quickly, the car stopped on the road. Anna and Destiny had gotten out of the car. Only Tak hadn't come out yet. Anna asked if he wanted to go with them. Destiny didn't think highly of Tak's presence because he couldn't even help carry things. Anna instructed him not to wander off, then went with Destiny to a grocery store. Because times weren't like before anymore, everything outside didn't look very colorful. They told the store owner they needed to go to New York, a journey with 3 people. The shopkeeper was worried this trip wouldn't be very stable. He was a bit concerned, but Destiny confidently promised on her honor that as long as she was there, everything would be fine. She would always fulfill her mission. The owner laughed loudly. Then, according to the list, he got supplies for the 2 of them. He shared that it had been quite a while since he had met young people because everyone here was elderly. The owner finished packing the goods into the crate and was about to lift it, but his aged bones wouldn't allow it. Just a little movement and there was a crackling sound. Anna was alarmed and wanted to help, but he still wanted to try a bit more. At this moment, a phone call rang in the store. On the other end was a woman whose voice showed signs of old age. The shopkeeper said she was a regular customer here, and every day at this time, he would deliver goods to her. Seeing him like this, the two offered to help deliver the goods to that woman. She also heard their story about the shopkeeper and promised to call a doctor to treat him. Anna was also very happy with her action and repeatedly thanked her. The woman went inside to get some soft drinks for them. Compared to Anna's hesitation, Destiny wasn't polite at all. She even asked if it was very sweet. The woman said she had liked sweet things since she was young and told them if they didn't mind the cramped space, they could take it with them. Destiny was so emotionless that Anna had to remind her. Yet she naively thought her sister wanted to refuse because she didn't like apple jam. But the problem wasn't about liking it or not. She hadn't finished her sentence when the rotten wooden floor made her foot punch through. The woman came out, a bit embarrassed, wanting to fix it but had forgotten. Anna didn't mind helping her put down another board. Destiny was curious to try, but with her strength, she didn't know how to restrain herself, making a hole in the floor even bigger than before. Just as they finished with the board, they heard noise from the neighbor's house. A cat named Tom was on the roof, not knowing how to get down, making the homeowner very worried. Having done good deeds so far, they decided to help get the cat back. A giant D2 monster appeared before a young boy. Just as it was about to attack the boy, sword strikes came from somewhere and sliced it to pieces. Then came the image of two women appearing after the monster vanished. That's what Tact still remembered until now. He lazily stretched, then opened the door and went outside. He reached the street, wanting to find them but didn't see anyone. After walking for a while, he saw a man entering an unmarked room. Curious, Tact followed him in. The first room was empty. He found stairs leading to a basement and saw it was crowded. All middle-aged men listening to music and enjoying drinks. Tact was dazed for a moment, listening to the song being played, then quickly ran to the cabinet and found a disc by Kenji. He was a talented musician and singer, and he was also Tact's father. Tact also followed the bartender's instruction to order a coffee so he could request this song. He listened as the man spoke favorably about his father. He was surprised that they loved his father so much, despite a tragedy closely related to music lovers. Tact knew his father had caused not a few problems for people, forcing them to listen to music secretly. The bartender said it hadn't always been secretive like this. Some senior members chuckled, seeming to agree. Their attitude was far different from what Tact had imagined. The bartender praised Kenji effusively, no different from describing Michael Jackson's illustrious career. The elders around, watching his animated gestures when talking about Kenji, had a good laugh. One elder even told Tact in a teasing tone that he should stay away from the bartender, or once caught, it would be very difficult to break free. They laughed and chatted happily together. The bartender turned to ask Tact, guessing that he knew Kenji's music because his parents were loyal fans. He replied that Kenji was his father, causing the noisy room to suddenly fall silent. Going back to Anna and her sister's location. After helping that woman get the cat named Tom gun, the two were on their way back. Destiny was focused on describing the feeling of touching a cat for the first time. Even her excited appearance was mechanical, showing nothing on her face. She felt it was both fluffy, soft, weak, and warm. Destiny also remembered that before leaving, Tom had rubbed his head against her. Just hearing this, Anna knew she really liked this cat and told her if there was a chance, they would visit Tom again. The young figures of the two were caught in the sight of the woman sitting inside the house. She called out loudly for Maria, then ran out, mistakenly identifying Anna as her deceased daughter. And Destiny walking beside her was her daughter's friend. Not listening to Anna's explanation, she took her hand and led her into the house, treating her like her own daughter. She brought out the cake that Maria loved most for the two of them. Destiny didn't care about life's matters. As long as there was good food, she could be bought. Inside the house, Anna still tried to say she wasn't the woman's daughter, but the woman acted as if she hadn't heard. They hadn't been sitting long when the woman's husband returned. Anna stood up to apologize for this misunderstanding. At Tact's location, after learning he was Kenji's son, the bar owner had led him down to the instrument room. As soon as he saw the piano, he eagerly jumped on it to play a song. The bar owner introduced Tact to a regular customer, Do, who had once participated in Kenji's concert. He was still proud of the most glorious time in his life. He recounted with a happy face, perhaps feeling that he was born for this moment. People called Kenji Roster. He said many nice things about Tact's father, but Tact didn't want to hear anymore. He really felt the man was a bit too talkative. The bar owner thought that Tact was very different from his father, who was a typically cold person. Tact said that was his personal style and sat down to play another song. At this point, the few guests all gathered fully down here. His hands moved skillfully over each piano key, surprising everyone present. At Anna's location, the husband pulled her aside to explain the situation a bit. Their daughter named Maria had a family and moved out many years ago. She was now deceased, and perhaps because she missed her child so much, his wife always acted as if she were still alive. Meeting a young person like Anna, she mistook her for her daughter. Meanwhile, inside, Destiny was still chatting with the wife and had finished all the cake. She also told the woman many good things about her conductor. He had an abundance of musical talent, but his life skills were at negative infinity. Nevertheless, in this era, that was the most precious thing a person could possess. After chatting for a while, the two left, saying goodbye to the husband before leaving, while the woman had fallen asleep. The two were passing by a row of empty shops when Destiny smelled Tact. Going inside, they found him focused on playing piano for the guests. Destiny was very familiar with this behavior of his. No matter where there was a piano, he would never pass it up. The song reached its final note, and everyone stood up to applaud this excellent performance. Jay came over to hold Tak's hand, thanking him for letting him feel that Kenji's music was still alive. After finishing, the three of them drove away. Destiny sat in the car eating apple jam given by Mrs. Brown. Most likely, with her food-loving character, the two of them would have nothing left to eat. The familiar green car passed through each road, driving past a town devastated by D2, left in ruins. Anna instinctively felt a chill down her spine. This made her realize nothing was different from 4 years ago. While the two were conversing, Tak's mind was still in the clouds. After returning from that bar, his hand kept tapping on the window glass. What seemed like a pointless habit was actually tapping to each musical note. Anna was annoyed by the clicking sound on the window glass. She spoke loudly to Tak about this. Indeed, he paid no attention to the two of them. At this point, the dark circles under his eyes had become more severe. Anna was worried about Tak's current condition. He looked like someone had taken his soul away. Tak remained silent until the car stopped. He just kept quiet and tapped keys on the window. At a large stage, people were arriving to watch a concert. Sindler irritably told his subordinate to announce that currently, no conductors could operate. The man standing outside the door bowed, listened, and then left. Though it sounded nice, in reality, Sindler was contemptuous of the ordinary people here. With his noble background, he looked down on everyone from lower classes. The land there couldn't be cultivated, the economy was poor. Backward, their food and clothing depended solely on state aid. Sindler called such places garbage dumps. He said with a proud face that he was a top commanding officer with the important responsibility of protecting this world. A knock sounded at the door, and a female employee came to report that someone was calling for him. Sindler and Jingo received orders to go over immediately. Sindler was shocked after hearing Sagan's directive. Seeing him like this, he repeated that he shouldn't touch Tact anymore. He knew all about his opposition to Tact, and only today did he have the opportunity to tell him to stop these meaningless actions. Meaningless because he didn't feel Tact was a threat. It was no exaggeration to say Tact was an extremely rare talent, and certainly his abilities would become very necessary in the future. Sindler didn't want to admit that someone he disliked was so talented in the eyes of leadership, and he was just giving himself airs, considering himself an important link in the food chain. Sagan didn't hesitate to tell the truth. Actually, his presence wasn't as divine as he thought. Back in his dark room, Sindler released his anger. He punched the cabinet door so hard that it made a hole. Sagan's praise earlier made him hate Tact even more. But he didn't want to believe the truth. Tact was superior to him in every way, importantly including moral aspects. As they approached their destination at dusk, Tact's people were stopped by police, not for repairs or car accidents, but because they had noticed D2 gradually revealing themselves. These past few days, they had continuously attacked the town, causing considerable damage. The busy road was strangely quiet. Everyone was fleeing. The police officer looked into a car where a woman was feeding her newborn baby, who wasn't even a month old, and felt sorry for them having to leave their homeland. The two listened to him speak and also looked sad. Destiny promised to help the police officer blow away the D2. Anna looked over at Tact to see if he was okay to command. His soul seemed to be lost. He neither heard nor said anything. By evening, the three rested at a hotel. Anna and Destiny would share a room. She instructed Tact to call them if anything happened. He didn't respond, just sat dazed at the table, tapping his fingers. Anna held her head, not wanting to hear this haunting sound. Without a word, Destiny went over and broke his neck. Anna asked Tact in a low voice, her face now drained of blood, and even he was frightened. Although Destiny didn't have as many emotions as normal people, she wasn't a cold-blooded, indifferent person either. She knew this was the only way to make Tact sit down and talk properly. Despite her indifference to worldly matters, Destiny could see his abnormality. Ever since leaving that bar, he truly couldn't make others feel at ease. After Destiny's persistent questioning, even though Tact wanted to hide it, he couldn't anymore. He placed several sheets of paper on the table, all recording sounds and musical notes. He wanted to compose a piece that belonged to him. The two were momentarily surprised by this aspect of Tact. Anna guessed something must have inspired him. Indeed, the bar owner had said that music contains people's thoughts, and Doe was someone who had performed with his father. Actually, Anna seemed very surprised, though this wasn't the first time Tact had tried composing music, possibly including drafts. In fact, this was just his first draft. Tact didn't speak to her anymore. He sat at the table diligently writing the unfinished piece. Squiggly lines drawn on the music frame were still not complete as a composition. Understanding Tak's desire to always have a piano by his side. Unfortunately, one couldn't be found here. It could only be replaced with a piano accordion. Though disappointed, Tact still accepted the instrument, having something was better than nothing. Tact stayed up all night but still couldn't complete a song. While writing enthusiastically, his arm disappeared. Tact hurriedly went outside, knowing that Destiny had transformed, preparing to deal with D2. He questioned why she didn't call him. Destiny understood that with Tact's current state, he certainly couldn't do anything effective. She was confident in her ability to fight D2 without Tact. After a brief argument, Destiny ran off. She had an appointment. Tact couldn't believe his ears. After Destiny left, Tact went back to his room to continue composing. The result was still like yesterday, nothing stuck in his head to write a piece that would touch people's hearts. Tact could only let himself relax a bit, going down to the street to sit dazed, his hand tapping on his thigh to the notes running through his mind. He remembered when he was young. He had asked his father how he composed such masterpieces. Just one short answer: importantly, you must want someone to hear it. Tact didn't understand what this meant then. Returning to the present, he looked up and saw a familiar figure. It was Destiny, carrying a bag of food, going somewhere. So Tact followed her stealthily, step by step, until she reached her destination. Destiny went to a park and gave the food bag to a woman holding a baby who couldn't yet speak. Tact stood at a tree not far away. He truly didn't expect that Destiny, simply being alive, would also know how to help others. Destiny took out a lollipop and held it in front of the crying child. It immediately giggled, staring intently at the candy in her hand. Destiny gave the candy to the little one. Behind the tree trunk, Anna approached Tact. He was curious about Destiny's amazing changes during this time. Initially, Destiny couldn't do anything and didn't know about this world. The only thing she could do, and do best, was eliminate D2. That was true before, but not anymore. Destiny had gradually changed to become a warmer person. Destiny said goodbye to the mother and child, then left. On the way, she met kids playing in the park. She took out some lollipops to give them. Anna told Tact that yesterday's piano was because Destiny had gone to borrow it for him. Tact hadn't expected Destiny to have such an aspect, being someone who treated everyone around her very well. Lenny and Titan moved to a location calculated beforehand. The next place coincidentally met Tact's people who were there. In the completely silent room, only Tact sat dazed, with sheets of paper on the table for him to compose music. Although he had tried to think hard, he couldn't find a direction for himself. Tact's mind was in turmoil. He went to the bakery where Destiny was having a meal. Tact inquired about a few things. He always saw her and Anna going together, yet somehow today she came here alone. Destiny finished eating her cake before looking up to answer his question. Perhaps Anna was right. Destiny had matured and was no longer the ignorant performer she once was. Recently, because both had their own activities, they just separated. Because Tact had been focusing only on composing music, he forgot that there had been a slight change between them. At this point, Destiny put down her fork. She felt Anna wasn't like before anymore. Most noticeably, she no longer called her by her nickname. Tact's eyes widened in shock hearing this. Destiny was curious about the person named Unmei because she heard this girl had taken a form identical to hers. Hearing this, Tact could only remain silent. Upon returning home, Tact was still pondering their earlier conversation. He dazedly remembered Unmei's appearance and suddenly realized for whom he should write music. At this moment, noisy police cars drove by, making it impossible for Tact to focus on composing anymore. Outside, a large police force equipped with guns and bulletproof vests was firing at a D2 monster. The bullets didn't cause it any damage, but just one basic attack from it sent the entire group of police officers flying several kilometers. Destiny and Tact appeared just in time, delivering a fatal blow that blasted away the monster. After eliminating the outside group, Tact wanted to find the remaining ones. The two entered the forest, and Destiny immediately sensed that D2 were very close. The smell of the monsters led them to Sindler and Jigoku. He admitted that he had used his power to lure these D2 to gather here. Tact didn't think he would have such intelligence. It was truly a self-destructive move. Just after hearing Sindler's nonsensical words, Tact wanted to rush up and teach him a lesson. He hadn't even touched a strand of Sindler's hair when he was hit by Jigoku, Sindler's subordinate, and sent flying far away. Destiny advised him to retreat because they had already used too much power. If they continued now, they certainly couldn't withstand it. Before they could escape, Jigoku lunged forward and struck Tact with a sword. Destiny, alarmed, quickly carried him and ran into the forest. Jigoku didn't pursue them. The two hid in a cave. Destiny bandaged Tact's wounds with rudimentary technique. He drowsily opened his eyes, mistaking Destiny for Unmei. She also cooperated, playing the role of the gentle one to please him. Making Tact run away in fear gave Sindler joy in feeling victorious. He returned to headquarters, sipping a glass of wine in his hand. Jigoku beside him hummed a tune, annoying him. Sindler spoke up, telling her to stop immediately. Although he was a conductor, he didn't like listening to music, because music couldn't be measured by any unit or convention but by feeling. To him, this wasn't trustworthy. He said he would become the measure of this world, dreaming of eternal fame thereafter, being praised as a hero. At this point, Jigoku just silently looked at him. When night fell, Tact finally woke up. He turned and wondered how someone who only knew fighting, like Destiny, would run away. Indeed, but Destiny was still a person with feelings who knew joy and sorrow. She feared never hearing his piano again, and that unfinished music brought sadness. Perhaps he would never compose music again. Importantly, who did he want to listen to it? His father had said that, but that person was gone now. Tact had no inspiration to compose. Destiny guessed he was referring to Unmei. Whether it was due to being injured and touched by Destiny's heart, Tact easily opened up to talk about his deceased friend. Unmei was Anna's sister. She often came to his house to play and always took excessive care of Tact, which he initially found annoying. Precisely, not just Unmei but the whole world was the same. Tact didn't like how people didn't accept music. Wasn't it still what illuminated human hearts through the ages? Tact had become obsessed. In his childhood, he used to sit for hours just playing the piano, with a bitter mood, but no one listened. Everything seemed meaningless until Unmei appeared and led Tact's gloomy life into the light. She was like a miracle in his life. She gave him a reason not to give up, not to abandon music, and together they brought music to more people. At this point, Tact's voice choked. Unmei was gone now. Now Destiny was doing what she once did. She advised Tact not to give up composing. Because his timbre had fire, it lit up people's hearts, as if blazing. Perhaps the one waiting for him still existed somewhere in this world. Meanwhile, Anna was worried about Tact and Destiny. She ran to where D2 appeared to find traces of them. By chance, Lenny met Anna on the road, so she brought them back to where she was staying. Anna couldn't stop worrying about Tact and Destiny in the forest. After hearing Lenny reveal that someone possessed the power to control D2, Lenny believed that with their strength, nothing would happen to them. At this moment, the walkie-talkie on the table rang with Titan's voice. She was running in the forest looking for the two when she accidentally encountered a D2. Anna wanted to go, but Lenny stopped her. He wanted to resolve this matter. That was why he was here. The next morning, Tact's condition wasn't much better. His complexion seemed to be worse. Destiny could no longer absorb his life force. She could only use her own strength to fight. Even so, it didn't make her back down. Destiny went out to get two hammers still stuck in a tree trunk and went to where Sindler and Jigoku were. Later, Tact woke up and left the cave. He heard the commotion coming from where Destiny was and could guess it was her. He clutched his chest wound and ran laboriously to her. The battle was nearing its end. Destiny had held out for a while, but was beaten down by Jigoku. Although her life was in Jigoku's hands, Destiny still didn't want to follow her words, begging Tact because she knew he wasn't someone who should stand on the battlefield. Jigoku's hand was using more and more force. A bit more and Destiny might die instantly. Fortunately, Tact arrived just in time, causing her to let go. Sindler was happy to see him. He rambled on, but Tact didn't answer a word and instead argued with Destiny. One wanted to fight alone, the other didn't want the opponent to be in danger. They argued so intensely that it made Sindler irritated because they acted as if he wasn't there. At this moment, Lenny and Titan arrived. Titan chased after Jigoku, while Lenny exchanged a few words with Sindler to buy time. He was subtle because he wanted to let Tact and Destiny talk to each other. Indeed, the two had something to discuss. Tact had remembered who wanted to hear his music. Far at the horizon, right before his eyes, it was Destiny. More importantly, she should use his life force. Don't hesitate at all. With these words from him, Destiny couldn't refuse either. Lenny's feint worked effectively. Sindler thought the fighter was him, but in truth, it was Tact, and the performer was Destiny. She was only truly strong when using Tact's life force. She became much stronger in attack power, even blasting away Jigoku. Both sides fought for a long time, but she showed no signs of losing strength. The more they fought, the more energetic she became. Afterward, both used their strongest attack to end the battle. Destiny fired a laser ray as large as the hill in front. Sindler wasn't satisfied and still wanted to fight until Tact died. Jigoku wasn't kind-hearted either. It was because Tengoku arrived that she couldn't be as crazy as before. Tengoku's appearance reminded Sindler that fighting further would violate Sagan's regulations. He had been demoted from his position as a top commanding officer and stripped of all authority at Symphonica. He wasn't willing, but arguing was futile. Jigoku immediately turned her back on him, not acknowledging him, and even mocked him with a few sentences. Tengoku told Lenny not to mention this matter outside, then left with Jigoku. At the end of the day, Tact and Destiny returned to Anna. She promised that from now on, she would call her Unmei. After a long journey, the three of them finally reached New York. Unlike what they had seen before, this place remained intact, undamaged by D2. Bustling shops and a lively, hurried pace carried the breath of a prosperous metropolis. After driving a bit further, they arrived at Anna's home. She met her parents and her half-paralyzed sister. Destiny, like Anna, hugged them. They all went inside to talk. Lot had contacted Lenny to plan Destiny's adjustment. If adjusted, she would no longer use Tact's life force. This meant that future missions would not be completed perfectly. Lot hadn't checked yet, so she couldn't be specific. Everything should be left for later. Then they set out for New York's Symphonica, where Anna's laboratory was located. Destiny would go with her for examination. Before leaving, she advised Tact to let Lot check the abnormal signs on his right arm. Anna worriedly went over to pull up his sleeve to look. The skin there was deep red like blood. The red mark had spread up to his neck. Tact didn't want to say anything because she couldn't solve it anyway. Anna could only rely on her sister Lot to treat Tact, so both had to go to the laboratory for a general checkup, while Anna had to wait outside. Inside were machines and equipment that looked very modern. The two lay on beds, while Tact was pushed through an MRI machine. Destiny on the other side was still waiting for results from Lot. After quite a while, the results came in. Lot held an iPad in her hand but didn't hurry to speak, first wanting to inform them that with their current technology, they couldn't remove the contract between the two. The relationship between them was mutually beneficial. Lot called it feeding each other, an extremely sensitive balance. It wasn't something that could be maintained long-term. As for the red mark on Tact's arm, it was an invasion and would continue to affect every corner of his body. If both continued fighting together, sooner or later they would fall. If they gave up fighting, both could live and cherish the rest of their lives, but no answer was given. The next day, Anna and Destiny went to Tact's room. He had stayed up all night composing music, but still hadn't completed any pieces. Only his dark circles had become more pronounced. Urging him to hurry and get ready, Lot had promised to take the three of them to eat delicious food in New York. Tact didn't want to go, but faced with Destiny's threat, he had to agree. From sweets to sandwiches, they ate until they were stuffed, then went shopping for various things. Tact was responsible for carrying items, and finally they went to the aquarium before heading home. Anna used the excuse of taking Lot somewhere, so they left first, leaving only Tact and Destiny behind. The two accidentally had another private outing. On the way, they encountered some young people gathering. Getting closer, they learned that they were commemorating the late musician John Lennon, a genius who left a significant mark on music. Unfortunately, he departed too early, leaving a void too large for anyone to fill. The two stood dazed for a moment when an old lady approached, placing roses in their hands to put down in memory of John Lennon. On the way back, Anna told Lot interesting stories about Tact and Destiny, all beautiful memories. Anna noticed how much the two had changed since working together, especially Destiny, who was becoming more mature and even helping people around her. Anna felt she was very similar to her own sister in the past and had long considered Destiny as her own sister. By evening, Tact and Destiny were still strolling in the park. Tact led her to a place where concerts were once held, culminating in fireworks displays. Destiny didn't know what fireworks were. He pointed to the sky and explained they were explosives with added colors shot into the air. Tact admitted he had never seen fireworks in real life, but he had seen bands perform before. The two sat on the green grass, chatting for a long time. On their way back through the city center, Destiny sensed the echo of D2 very close by. Arriving home, Tact received a call from Lenny, whose urgent tone told them to quickly leave New York with their family immediately. Someone possessed the power to control D2 just like Sindler. Lenny said goodbye. Tact felt like something important was being hidden from him. Lenny was happily watching Titan eat breakfast after dreaming about his teacher. He still wondered when he would become a light for someone. After finishing breakfast, they had to prepare for today's appointment with Tact. He set out, saying goodbye to Anna, then with Destiny headed to the location previously arranged. Tact wanted to know the truth about Symphonica and the Boston tragedy. At this moment, a familiar character appeared, Sagan, the leader of Symphonica. The two sides seemed to be in a very tense argument. The previous incident was caused by Sagan. After just a few sentences, they started fighting. Sagan, of course, didn't engage in these clashes himself, but let Jigoku, who followed him, fight with Destiny. Tengoku fought with Titan. Sagan casually told Tact about the Boston tragedy. That day, Lenny was also present, which is why he now willingly became a conductor to atone for his mistake. In his youth, Lenny had accepted the blue-haired old man as his teacher. The man admitted he had many shortcomings and still didn't understand everything, so he wanted to make a deal with Lenny that if he knew something, he should show him, as if they were compensating for each other. Lenny needed his musical talent. He needed Lenny's cooking skills. Lenny felt constantly worried. Recently, D2 had been appearing more frequently, and the teacher and student were about to have a concert in the city. He didn't feel comfortable at all, but Lenny's teacher didn't want to cancel. He knew the danger and understood even more clearly that this was the only thing he could do. In times like these, he wanted to use music to convey a glimmer of hope to everyone. When Lenny woke up, he saw the scene before him plunged into chaos. His teacher was pinned under a pile of rubble. Lenny himself was injured, with no strength to stand, let alone save his teacher. The second time he opened his eyes, Lenny was in the hospital, his hand clutching a newspaper announcing his teacher's death. At that time, Sagan was present, offering a contract for the position of conductor. Lenny would have the power to fight back against D2. Thanks to this contract, he met Titan, his performer and faithful companion ever after. It was her innocent, always smiling way that warmed a heart that had experienced such tragedy as Lenny's. Until nightfall, they were all still fighting. This time, Tengoku also participated in repelling Destiny and Titan helped Jigoku. The two sides fought back and forth for a while, ultimately reaching a stalemate. Tact, standing outside commanding Destiny and borrowing his life force, had exhausted himself, unable to withstand using power like this. Destiny had also collapsed. Just as she tried to struggle up to go to him, Jigoku came over and kicked her away. She was about to attack Destiny. Fortunately, Titan fired a shot just in time, but still couldn't stop her the second time. Lenny was ready to stand in and take this shot for him. Several more bullets hit Lenny. Having reached this point, he finally used his ultimate move. Titan's appearance changed somewhat. The most obvious thing was that her demeanor had become more frenzied, no longer the innocent childlike version. Although Lenny had lost quite a bit of blood, he still stood firm to complete the performance. Titan's gun had transformed to have more barrels. She accumulated energy and fired an extremely powerful shot. This shot created an unprecedented shock wave. That attack had severely injured Tengoku and Jigoku. Seeing that he had achieved his desired goal, Sagan led the two injured people away. Lenny lay down on the ground. This could be his last performance. His mind inadvertently remembered the moment he went to meet Tact after Kenji. His father died. That year, Tact was just a kid, still not brave enough to face it. Lenny decided to apologize by creating a world where Tact could play music from his heart. Tact and Destiny were brought to Lot's research room. Anna sat opposite, listening to her sister announce that the two were in a state of hibernation. Lot promised to use every method she could to treat them. Anna didn't understand these things, but hearing Lot speak like this, she felt endless worry in her heart. Particularly concerning was Tact's alarming condition. He didn't have much time left. Within about a month, if there was no solution, things would be irreparable. Anna could do nothing but trust Lot. In a large room, Sagan pressed his hand into the sharp rock in front of him, piercing through skin and flesh. The action directly affected the city's condition. Everywhere, these purple rocks grew from the ground, piercing upward. D2 monsters were born from them. People ran in panic, and the once prosperous city had become a mess. The next day, Tact woke up in his room. The invasion marks had spread to half of the right side of his face, his body still carrying echoes from the previous night. This wasn't as important as the fact that D2 had appeared in the city through that giant object. News was being broadcast on television. Later, Destiny and Titan also returned. Anna had something to attend to, so she wrote a letter for Destiny to give to Tact. In the letter, she said she had something important to discuss with Lot. She was currently at the Symphonica Theater. Tact looked at the TV screen and suddenly remembered that D2 were appearing there. At the center, some people were fighting the monsters. In the theater, Anna didn't have anything important at all. In reality, even if she wanted to, she couldn't escape. The purple rock objects had grown everywhere, completely blocking all exits. Some unfortunate people were pierced to death by them. The two hadn't gotten far when they encountered the battle ahead, so they could only rely on the rescue team. On this side, the three of them had set out for Anna's location. Titan had once worked here, so she understood the terrain and secret paths. She was responsible for guiding them. This path was so secret that even those objects couldn't reach it. It would lead them directly to the center of Symphonica. On the way there, Titan reviewed tactics with the two of them. Inside, there was not a single person left, only D2 monsters dominating the place. At the same time, Anna and Lot were still trapped inside. Anna, with determination, carried Lot on her back and had to struggle to go around to find an exit. Unfortunately, a D2 was also inside. Anna had no fighting ability. Lot, with her injuries, only had power in the laboratory. Fortunately, Valkyrie appeared just in time, with one sword slash causing the monster to vanish. After finishing with the D2, Tact also collapsed to the floor. After being unconscious for a long time, he finally opened his eyes, clutching his tattered arm and joining the two D2 hunters at the next location in Symphonica. After rescuing the two sisters, Valkyrie continued fighting the D2. Finally, with just one final boss left, this mess would end. Just then, Tact's people also ran up, and they worked together to defeat this monster. The final D2 boss was dead. Making it disappear truly took a lot of effort and time. Tact knew everything wasn't over yet, so he asked Titan to take the uninvolved people to safety. Anna worried about Tact's condition. He should be recuperating instead of fighting. He knew himself but still didn't want to stop. Anna desperately advised him to return so Lot could find a solution, and everyone could live together for their remaining happy lives. At this point, Anna could no longer hide her vulnerable appearance. Tact refused because he was busy saving music. He knew he would hardly escape life and death, so he thanked Anna, because during this time, she had always taken care of him. At this moment, Anna could no longer contain her emotions. Her eyes filled with tears, and she suddenly ran over to kiss Tact on the lips. She didn't understand why she acted that way. Anna turned to instruct Destiny to bring Tact back for Lot's treatment. Destiny nodded in agreement. Then she continued hunting D2. They met Jigoku carrying Tengoku in another room. Instead of fighting as usual, these two women chose to face the end together. Black liquid from the two produced explosives, and a woman derived from them named Orpheus. A completely new version resulting from the combination of Jigoku and Tengoku. Tact was alarmed because the power had been doubled. Conversely, Destiny showed no fear. As it happened, her strength was in fighting solo. Tact had faith in her. They quickly began the performance. He poured all his energy from the start of the battle. Two weapon pianos beside Orpheus protecting her continuously fired many explosives. Darkness surrounded one corner of the room, causing Destiny to be thrown back just as she approached. Tact looked up to see the wounds on Orpheus gradually healing. Calculating how to counter, whether to attack continuously or not, Destiny stood up, saying they must deliver damage strong enough that they cannot recover. Destiny charged forward, nimbly flying between two rocks, avoiding the first few blows from the two pianos, opening her gun barrel to fly straight at Orpheus, but was blocked by chains from the two pianos. Destiny escaped once more, charging forward to fire several shots hitting Orpheus, but then she healed herself again. Orpheus laughed smugly. Just as she looked up, Destiny was nowhere to be seen. Tact suddenly ran up and kicked her in the face. Thanks to this, she was able to use her final move to shatter the two pianos, then deliver a fatal blow that tore Orpheus apart. It seemed everything was over, but that black liquid had revived Orpheus's body to its original state. Destiny told Tact to leave while she would stay to deal with her. Going back to the past a few years ago, the battlefront had become tenser than ever. Humanity's defensive line had been shattered, exhausted and depleted. The fighters seemingly couldn't push them back. Moreover, the leader reported still being unable to contact the performance team, while more and more D2 continued to arrive. Somehow, Jigoku and Tengoku were present. One shot from their weapons cleared an entire group of D2 approaching everyone. At this moment, Sagan approached. He ordered the army to hold their ground. meaning that even if they died there, they must not retreat, because behind them were many innocent civilians. If they withdrew here, the battle formation would collapse immediately. With an inspiring voice, he revived the soldiers' spirits. The world was sinking into pain and loss unprecedented in this century. Many soldiers had fallen fighting for their homeland. Many civilians lay piled like corpses on streets that should have been bustling with passers-by. Not to mention property damage. Skyscrapers had been devastated by giant D2. Just for a moment, Sagan was dazed, his mind running through memories of everyone in this tragic scene. He went over to touch that rock, and in an instant, Sagan was with Jigoku and Tengoku on the rooftop, looking down at the ruined city. Perhaps that was what was in Sagan's mind now. In reality, he was stuck on the rocks he had created himself. Tact had found the sick man who wanted to destroy this world. On Destiny's side, the battle wasn't over yet. Orpheus was determined to fight to the end for Sagan's ideals. They had to save this world. After everything, it wasn't clear if it was saving or making things worse. She argued while attacking Destiny. The battle escalated because she borrowed Tact's life force, directly affecting his condition. His hair had now turned white on half his head. He looked exhausted, his legs buckling to the ground. Sagan, stuck on the rock, was still rambling about music and his lofty aspirations. On Destiny's side, she had been defeated. Orpheus, remembering Sagan's desperate appearance, couldn't help but want to skewer her. She had just raised her hand to strike when Destiny stood up and knocked the sword from her hand. No longer using power, the two switched to hand-to-hand combat. They enlightened each other with philosophical punches. In the end, good always triumphs over evil. Destiny finished off Orpheus with one shot that made her vanish. A moment later, Destiny also arrived at Tact's location. Presumably, she had won to reach this stage. Finally, justice prevailed. The moment the sword pierced Sagan, his entire body turned to stone. All existing D2 perished at once. After everything, the two spent their final moments together. They lay on the beach, hands clasped tightly, recalling the memories they had shared. The two were silent for a moment. Tact closed his eyes beside her. Destiny placed a kiss on his lips, confessing that she loved him, then also dissipated into rose petals carried by the wind. In the city, police had been dispatched to clean up the scene. Tact's body had been returned to Anna. She thought he was still alive and urgently told the rescuers to give him first aid. In Tact's hand, he still held the necklace Destiny had given him before she vanished. Many years later, with the city now experiencing the first snow of the season, the city center had been restored to its former splendor. A large screen on a building displayed morning flowers. It was reporting on the disaster caused by D2 monsters there. Anna had also joined Symphonica. In her hand was the necklace that Tact had kept until his last breath. He and Destiny had broken their promise. The two didn't return in the most complete way. In the end of this reunion, only Titan returned safely. The three chatted happily together. Anna was still waiting for Tact to finish treatment and wake up.